Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the No Easy Way Out podcast, Quarantine Edition. I am joined today by a friend and a colleague, Kori Shook from Kori Shook Real Estate and Associates. Kori, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here today. We are practicing our social distancing. And why don't you tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do? What is your industry?
Sure. So Kori Shook, broker owner, Kori Shook and Associates, your local boutique brokerage.
Yeah.
In residential, vacant land, and multifamily sales since 2004.
2004. I've been at it for a while. And Kori is a hustler, and I'm looking forward to hearing what things have been going on. I know some of it myself, but I'm looking forward to sharing with you all what's been going on during this shutdown. So, Kori, was your industry deemed essential by the government?
Not in Michigan. So the CDC guidelines did allow for residential sales, but Michigan did not add us into the essential list as realtors. It was updated to include appraisers, inspectors, and title services. So those individuals could go out and work.
Right.
But realtors and agents, we had to shelter in place and not leave our home for work.
Yeah, and so when were you forced to shut down?
March 23rd. So as of March 23rd, us agents have been working from home, and only those transactions and those parts of our industry were outside of the house working.
Yeah, and we were actually, my family and I were in the process of buying a house with Kori, and we've kind of just had to stall everything, and we've looked at some houses online and some video walkthroughs and different things, but obviously we don't want to pull the trigger on something like that until we can actually go in the house. So It's kind of stalled that probably for a lot of people. So what have you been doing during all this downtime, if you want to call it that, to stay relevant to people, to stay afloat, to keep your employees up? What are some of the things you've been doing?
So I don't sit still very well, and we
Yes.
talked about that. It's really hard for me. So
I probably talk to you as much as I've talked to anybody
absolutely.
through this. So,
yeah. So I'm on the phone a lot. Yes, I make lots of phone calls. I'm a people person. I'm in a people business.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been hard for me not to see people, but I have done that through phone, text, Zoom. I've had Zoom showings.
Mm-hmm.
So we have done some of that, and I've stayed in contact with people that way. I've sent out a newsletter. I Zoom with my team, Tori and Lisa, almost every day. Mm-hmm. We talk on a regular basis because as their broker, I feel it's important to keep them abreast of the situation, what's going on, and just to check in.
Yeah.
This has been very isolating for a lot of people.
For
and
sure.
It's important to me to try to stay positive and be that person during this. I've talked to more local business owners than I ever have. There's some that I didn't even really know before
Right.
this, and I just reached out and we've talked on a regular basis.
Pardon the sound there.
Right.
I'm just pulling up Instagram here. I was going to do a little Instagram story while we're talking, so let's just keep it going.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've talked to a lot of business owners, a lot of people, and tried to stay in touch. Sent out letters, sent out cards, and just try to be positive.
Yeah, well, and I would say firsthand that is true. Kori and I have both had a lot of conversations, and we've talked about how some days have been really easy to be positive because it's just who we are. But even the most positive of us, there have been days where it's like, oh my goodness, man, how much more positivity can we give? And we've just kind of determined that we're going to stick through that, but we've kind of helped each other off the ledge a few times. But
yeah, I say that, but I'm a lot of different people in one body. And
yeah,
so,
aren't we
so
all?
my-
We're discovering new personalities, all of us.
Yeah, so my family has seen that roller coaster, but they've been in that roller coaster with me, and so we've worked through our emotional turmoil during this.
So this has certainly had an impact on a lot of business. And so I want to talk about, we've kind of talked about some of the impact, but how has this impacted your business directly?
Sure. So again, I try to always be positive and be positive about the market, about the real estate market, because I do believe that everything is about perspective.
Right.
And so I believe that our perspective sometimes can fuel those things. But if I'm being completely honest and vulnerable about where my business has gone and how it's affected, it's been a serious monetary struggle. I had transactions in place. And so a lot of times people will see me post those closings and think, well, she's doing just fine. We have these closings, but that business is business that was before the shutdown.
Right.
So my business is a business that's always 30 to 60 days out.
Right.
So we're used to not getting paychecks for 30 to 60 to 90 days. So what I'm really looking at is May, June, and July. And this is our busiest, most important time of the year. My guess would be a loss of about $45,000 in income during that 6 to 7 week period as a gross income to my company. And the way that I look at that is, and that's based on 2018 and 2019, so it's really a guess. But I look at that as that amount of money that didn't then get pumped back into my local economy.
Right.
Because that money
Affects all
isn't
of us.
money that I take, go to Hawaii with.
Right.
That's money that I pay my vendors like you, like my
Yeah.
photographer. The
you're-
thousands of dollars that I pump into downtown Owasso with money that I spend, but money that I donate and do all kinds of things with. So, and I'm just one person. I'm
Yeah.
just one company. So, yeah, it's gonna hurt when we look at those long-term numbers.
Yeah, and that's a tremendous impact. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. That's a lot of money, and that's just a conservative guesstimate. I mean,
It is.
I know, because we work closely with you, that your business has shown steady increase year over year. Like your business is
Right.
growing. So to even base that number on historical data is not 100% accurate because you never know what this year could have.
Sure.
And the economy was really on the rise. Consumer confidence was high, and so there's no telling what it could. But conservatively, that's a big number, and so that's why we're doing this. Is we want people to understand that hey, we're all doing our part to be safe and to be conscientious of our neighbor and our customers and our clients. But these decisions that are being made for us are having real impact on people. So I know that you don't have traditional employees, but you have a team.
I do. Mhm.
And so how have you experienced that this has affected your team?
So, we try to talk all the time. And I, the way that I'm structured, I work in a different way than many brokerages. So as a team, that means that my agents will get paid based on what the team produces.
Right.
So the nice thing about that is that they can rely on my hustle.
Yeah.
So while they're at home and they truly aren't working, I mean, most of what the company is doing is what I'm doing. But they can rest assured that as we pick back up, so will their income.
Yeah.
And the good news is that while this has been a really disastrous situation, I am confident in myself, my community, and my market that we will pick back up and strong this
Yeah.
year. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of good signs. Opening day is
Yeah, it's coming up,
Thursday,
May 7th.
and
Yeah.
so that's a big day. We're going to
excited
come
to
out
go
of
look
the
at a few houses.
yeah, we're going to come out of the gate strong. I have appointments scheduled for that day, and safely we're going to come out and we're going to start working.
Good for you. Well, I know one of your ladies is she lives by herself. What kind of an impact has this had on her?
I think it's been really hard. She gets a new puppy tomorrow, so that's really helpful. Her dog passed away just a few months before this, and so
Yeah.
yes, Lisa lives alone, and we've done a lot too. She's my aunt, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she is, and she's one of my best friends. So
Yeah.
we talk every day. It has been difficult for her. She's gotten some projects done around the house, just like everybody else, and she also is a very resilient person and stays positive. So I'm glad for that.
Yeah. So you have a family, a couple dogs and a couple of kids and a husband, and you have a college student that had to come home, and you
Yes.
have a high school student, I believe, right? That's
Yes.
obviously homeschooling now. Missed out on some things, but you've done some fun things too. I'll let you talk about that, what you've done to keep their spirits up. But what kind of impact have you seen in your family?
Yeah, so Rhiannon, my 19-year-old, was at MSU. She's a freshman. She just texted me her grades, and so she finished at home. I'm so proud of her.
Good for her.
And she passed her. All I cared was pass that math class,
Right.
and she did because she had to be at home, and that was different, and that was
Yeah.
hard. And we're blessed with a nice big house, but we had to go to our four corners you know, to get our work
Yeah.
done. So we're all Zooming in different areas of the house. She's working on design projects on her bedroom floor instead of in a nice studio that we pay for at MSU.
Yeah.
And the impact has been emotionally tolling, certainly.
Yeah.
Reagan is almost 17. She's a junior at Corona High School. She had, of course, prom. She was a week away from her high school drama production.
She'd been working on for a while.
And she'd been working on, and that's her thing.
Yeah.
She had at least 3 camps planned for the summer in musical theater. They've all been canceled. So it's a roller coaster. I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes we technically have 4 adults and 3 women.
Right.
3 women in
Poor
the
Josh.
house.
Send
Yeah.
help for Josh.
Yeah, exactly. So the fights that happen between them can be difficult, but then they also support each other. You know, we had, as you saw, we had prom this weekend at our house,
Yes, it
and
was
we
awesome.
dressed. We had already bought her prom dress, and she's already decided she's not wearing it next year. So we decided we're not wasting that thing. So we got all dressed up. I got dressed up. I was actually supposed to be in New Orleans for this weekend.
Yeah.
And I was going to miss her first prom. So I try to take that as a blessing,
Sure.
that I was going to miss her first prom. Instead, I got to be at her first
Yeah.
prom. I dressed up. I danced.
Host the prom, DJ, everything.
Yeah, exactly. And we had a big party with
Yeah.
a few people.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people, but it was still a party. Us Shooks love to throw parties.
I saw some of the videos. It looked like a great time, and I'm sure your kids enjoyed that. We have a
Good.
college student at home, and she is really struggling to stay focused. You know, we have 6 kids in the house, all trying to school from home, and our house isn't all that big. Might be big, some might consider it big, but when you have 8 people in there, it doesn't seem very big. And so, those are real challenges. And I think, everything is about perspective. Like you said, you could be upset that you missed your New Orleans trip, but you've taken the time to recognize there is some good. And I think it's important that people try to see the good. But again, I think it's also important that we all understand that these things that are happening are having a tremendous impact on people's businesses that they've spent their whole lives building, on people's employees, on people's families. And it's real. And so I think it's our job as fellow humans to support each other. To not
Absolutely.
judge the way somebody's reacting to it versus the way you're reacting to it, or vice versa. I just think everybody's trying to process this the best way they know how. Some people think they have it all figured out and understand exactly what's going on, and some people don't really know it all. Some people are relying on the news for their daily information. Some people are relying on the president. Some people are relying on Facebook or whatever. But either way, everything that people are hearing is affecting how they react to this. And I think what I don't want to see as much, or really any, is you go on to social media, you see people just fighting with each other about how they're reacting to it. And I just think you all need to understand, none of us really know. We're just doing our best and trying to be the best that we can. And I think if we support each other, that would be the best outcome. So the last thing I'd like to ask is, what would be some advice or some words of encouragement you give to other people in your industry?
So in my industry, since we're getting set free this week, is certainly let's go,
Freedom.
let's get to work, but also to do so with respect, with responsibility, because we are in an industry where, while we have the right, finally, we have the right to go out and work, it's also our privilege to be able to be in someone's home.
Right.
So it's really important to respect that
For
privilege and that blessing to be invited into someone's home and to do it responsibly. And I think that's going to happen. I just joined with 10 other brokers locally, and we designed some collaborated for some showing procedures, and we're really proud of that. I'm proud of my fellow brokers that are my competitors that we're able to get together and talk about those things, and we're ready that way. But also to my other local business owners and friends and community is, like you said, to move forward with the mindset that I think the most important words right now are to each his own.
Yeah.
To really focus on, a lot of people say that they're empathetic, but empathy is not about judgment. It's
Right.
it's void of judgment.
Right.
So
Exactly.
empathy is putting yourself into someone else's experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's not saying, "Oh, I feel for you, but I'm judging you." So I think we need to move forward realizing that everybody's life experience is different,
Yep.
and how they react to all of this is based on those experiences, and just allow people a non-judgment and to move forward with their lives as they
Right.
see fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's something we've said almost every day we've been doing these podcasts. We've been saying that regardless of how you feel about it personally, if you're a business owner particularly, you should be very conscientious of how other people are feeling about it. And so if you are going back about your work, then do it in a way that is safe for your customers, or that makes them feel safe, and take into consideration the best practices that they've laid out for us to make people feel like they can trust to come shop with you or see a home in your case or whatever. And so I think those things are very important. Kori, thank you for being on the show today. Thank you for
Thanks,
sharing
Tony.
your
It's
experience
good
with
to
us.
see you 6
Yes,
feet
6 feet
away.
apart. I can almost, yeah. So, as my mother always said, what did my mother always say? I forgot. Let's try that again.
You can't always.
Yes, you can't. Something like that. I've said this so many times. I forgot it. As my mother always said, you can't and never could until you tried. So go out there and try something great, my friends, and don't take the easy way out. We'll see you next time.